Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're looking at a really complex situation in East Lansing. We've got sources covering what feels like an institutional crisis. We want to move past just the local headlines, and look at the deeper systemic stuff. And the starting point is kind of surprising, actually. Back in November 2020, the East Lansing City Council officially declared racism a public health crisis. That was the official stance.
Right, and that declaration, it sets the stage perfectly for the contradictions that followed. The council acknowledged, and I quote, the deleterious effects of systemic racism on Black Americans. That's strong language. But, when the actual actions of institutions go directly against that commitment, well, then the declaration starts to feel like just rhetoric, doesn't it? Not real structural change. And that gap, that's the core conflict we're looking at today.
Okay, so let's dive into one of the clearest examples. The police accountability crisis. It really blew up around Police Chief Jen Brown, specifically when she was asked about the data showing disproportionate use of force against Black individuals. Her justification was, no, it caused quite a stir. She claimed East Lansing had a disproportionate number of minorities come into the community and commit crimes.
Yeah, that statement, it just instantly broke trust. You saw immediate calls for her to resign. Groups like the Lansing NAACP, the city's own Independent Police Oversight Commission, ELPD, they were unequivocal. They wanted her gone. The city manager, he decided against it, called the whole thing a learning opportunity.
Learning opportunity. But wait, overriding the NAACP and the Oversight Commission, why take that risk? What's the institutional thinking there?
Well, it looks a lot like protecting the existing power structure, right? And maybe downplaying the significance of the racial harm caused by those comments. And it goes deeper structurally. The police union actually proposed changes to their contract, changes specifically designed to weaken ELPD, the Oversight Commission itself. Things like delaying investigations until after the police did their own internal reviews, and restricting access to key evidence like officer names or even body cam footage early on. They're basically trying to build in procedural shields, through policy.
Okay, so the resistance to accountability isn't just talk. It's embedded in proposed structural changes. That's significant. Let's pivot that idea now. Maybe look at the region's biggest institution, Michigan State University. Because this isn't just about the city police, is it? It's about how major institutions in the area handle these issues of equity and investment.
MSU is a fascinating case study here. It really highlights how diversity can be valued as a commodity, something that brings in revenue, but maybe not as a fundamental structural priority for equity itself.
You absolutely see that in the money. The dollars involved are huge. Our sources estimate the annual value of MSU's football, name, image, and likeness collective. The NIL deals for athletes is around $13 million. That's a massive, very clear investment in attracting and monetizing diverse athletic talent, much of which is Black talent.
Exactly. But contrast that huge financial commitment with what happened internally, almost silently. Documents show that MSU quietly removed terms like diversity, equity, and inclusion DEI from its main 2030 strategic plan, and from other official university websites too. It sort of vanished. So diversity is good for revenue, good for the football spectacle maybe, but the actual structural programs supporting equity, those seem to be treated as a political cost, something to be minimized or scrubbed when convenient.
And that minimizing, that structural sidelining, it kind of echoes in how certain cultural events were handled locally too, right? Almost like a form of racialized gatekeeping.
Yeah.
We saw things like the NBA Youngboy concert facing cancellations or major restrictions due to vague safety concerns. And the DaBaby performance being pushed off campus into a smaller venue.
Yeah.
It signals who belongs and who is seen as a potential risk.
Great. And these local dramas, the police chief scandal, MSU scrubbing DEI terms, the concert restrictions, they create a lot of noise, a lot of local spectacle. And here's the really crucial part. That local spectacle might serve a larger function. It can be a massive distraction. These controversies keep public attention focused here, locally, while something far more devastating was happening at the state level almost simultaneously.
Right, a bigger disaster. What were we missing while focused on, council meetings and concert venues?
The collapse of the food safety net for a huge number of people. After the federal funding lapse around October 1st, 2025, the state had to suspend Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program benefits, SNAP. We're talking about the bridge card system shutting down for at least 1.4 million Michigan residents, 1.4 million families suddenly facing immediate, severe food insecurity because the government systems failed at the state and federal level.
Wow. Okay, so let's connect these threads then. You're suggesting we have Local systems sort of justifying racist outcomes, major institutions monetizing talent while quietly ditching structural equity. And all this happening while the basic safety net for over 1 million people statewide just evaporates. It's like a two-tiered abandonment.
Exactly. It highlights a profound disconnect. The public focus gets manipulated, right? People are pushed to debate whether a police chief should resign or celebrate a multi-million-dollar athlete recruitment fund. But the real urgent crisis, the systemic failure that left 1.4 million Michigan families wondering how they'll eat, that gets overshadowed. Maybe the shift needs to be immediate demanding government action to fix that safety net, to ensure people can eat, rather than just focusing on the local spectacles or the next touchdown. That's where real accountability needs to start, perhaps.